Welcome back, Tiger Sports fans, for another episode of Tiger Sports Nation. I'm your host, Whitney Wells.
And I'm Henry Streib, and we're going to get you caught up on Tiger sports from this past week.
DePauw hosted Denison University for Old Gold Weekend and took down the Big Red by a score of 17-6. After an early DePauw field goal, the Tigers' special teams was able to recover their own punt at the 3-yard line. A couple plays later, Gus Baumgartner ran the ball in for a touchdown. The Tigers' defense stepped up big in the second half with an interception and a forced fumble that set up another rushing touchdown. The running back trio of Baumgartner, Whitehead, and Quigley finished the game with 145 rushing yards and both touchdowns for DePauw. The team will travel to Worcester next weekend for a 2 p.m. game against the Fighting Scots.
The women's soccer team traveled to Hiram this past weekend and bested their first NCAC opponent by a score of 3-0. Our very own Whitney Wells opened up the scoring with the goal in the 29th minute. Sophia Patry and Peyton Howard each scored their first goal for the Tigers to finish out the game. Their record improves to 8-2-2, and they'll play Denison tomorrow at home at 7 p.m.
The field hockey team remained dominant, going 2-0 on their Pennsylvania trip this weekend. They won their first game against Washington and Jefferson by a score of 5-1. Amy Applebaum netted a hat trick against the Presidents, and Ashley Appleby scored her first 2 goals for the Tigers this season. The next day, DePauw took down Allegheny 4-0. Applebaum scored her 9th goal of the season, and Scarlett Oaks and Bella Lauber shared time in goal for the shutout. They'll return to Revis this Thursday for a home game against Denison at 7.
The men's soccer team faced Wabash and Crawfordsville last week, and their comeback effort resulted in a 3-3 draw. After finding themselves down 3-1, the Tigers scored in the 74th and 78th minute to tie the score. Vahovsky, McCarter, and Webster scored the goals for DePauw. On Saturday, the team lost 1-0 at home to the North Park Vikings. Tonight, they'll take on Wittenberg at Revis Stadium.
The volleyball team played twice last week, walking away with 2 3-0 wins over Spalding and Hiram. Their overall record improves to 10-7, and they remain undefeated in NCAC play. They'll travel to St. Louis on Friday with a match against WashU.
The men's and women's swimming teams traveled to Rose-Hulman to take on the Fighting Engineers in a dual meet. The women's team won the meet by a score of 175-88. Libby Ruff, Anya Melson, Mackenzie Ortolano, Zoe Green, Courtney Marsh, Claire Sweetwood, Tara Holder, and Megan McKenzie all won individual events for the Tigers. They'll travel to Crawfordsville this weekend for the Indiana D3 meet.
The men's team lost 172-97. Jeremy Stutzman and Brock Kinnaman both won individual events for DePauw. They will also head to Crawfordsville for the Indiana D3 meet.
And that's it for Tiger Sports this week. Now it's time for Hot Topic, where we talk about something from the Tiger sports world or the greater sports world that we just can't stop thinking about. Whitney?
Something I can't stop thinking about is the Chicago Marathon was this weekend on Sunday, and Kelvin Kipton from Kenyan actually broke the world record for marathons with a time of 2 hours and 35 seconds, which I think is pretty insane.
It's crazy.
And he kind of motivates me to maybe want to run a marathon.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah. What can you not stop thinking about, Henry?
I'll talk about the Colts. Our star quarterback, Anthony Richardson, he went down early with the right shoulder injury. Turns out he's going to be out for about a month.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
They still got the win, though. Took down the Titans. Gardner Minshew, the backup, he stepped up big. Nice. I think the Colts will be okay. He seems to be doing a good job. And Jonathan Taylor's back, so our running backs are going to do a lot of the work for us. Yeah. But I think the Colts are looking good.
They're on the up. Even though I'm not a big fan, I wish them the best of success.
Well, that'll do it for Tiger Sports this week. I'm Henry Streib.
And I'm Whitney Wells. And as always,
roll Tigs.